Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
As you know by now, Kamala Harris has picked Tim Walz as her running mate, the Minnesota governor. And now we know why. So there's a great piece in Politico I'm going to get to, as well as 19 random facts about Tim Walz from the New York Times. I picked out a few to share that I find really interesting. I did a whole, in case you missed it, I did a whole live stream this morning from like 9 a.m., maybe even earlier, when this announcement, even before it came out, when CNN had confirmed it through sources. So go watch that video or that live stream if you want to see my reaction. And we watch a bunch of videos. It's 3 hours long. I'll link to it below this video on YouTube in the description box. But here, let's get to these interesting details. Starting first with just the announcement. Quickly here, this was the announcement from Kamala Harris. I am proud to announce that I've asked Tim Walz to be my running mate as a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran. He's delivered for working families like his. It's great to have him on the team. Now, they went on to share this video. This is the phone call that was made.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify our country and remind everyone that we are fighting for the future for everyone. So let's get out there and get this done, okay?
Let's do it. Do the work in front of us. Let's win this thing.
That's right. All right, buddy. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you.
All right, so there's that video. Let's get to the reasoning now. Politico has some inside information on this that is very interesting. So Kamala Harris loved Tim Walz's governing record in Minnesota. His biography and record of winning tough races resonated with her. And most of all, she just really liked him. So they had a sit-down, one-to-one interview on Sunday and connected despite having a little relationship prior. Several other factors were important to Harris as well. According to one of the people, Harris appreciated Walz's 2 terms as governor because he had accomplishments in Minnesota that Harris wants to replicate. This is a very good sign in her presidency. Access to reproductive health, paid leave, child tax credits, and gun safety. I went over in my video this morning, the live stream, the long list of accomplishments that Tim Walz has been able to accomplish with just a 1-seat majority. So to have someone like that who also has a record in Congress, like he knows people, he's connected. This was Nancy Pelosi's pick as well as Bernie Sanders' pick, just the consensus pick here. But basically, because he knows people in Washington, that also helps when it comes to trying to accomplish these various things. The fact that he's been there. Harris was also taken with Walz's biography, a former high school teacher, a football coach, and a veteran who flipped a Republican-leaning district in 2006, which she believes will play well in all 3 of the blue wall states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, including his win as a House member in a Republican district. Walz is seen by Harris's camp as a deft messenger, popularizing WEIRD as a messaging framework to describe Trump and J.D. Vance, a cutting and clear tagline that went viral over the last 2 weeks. I covered just the beginning of that 2 weeks ago when I first did my video on Walz, how he had an appearance, I think it was on MSNBC, then later on CNN, where framing these people as weird is it's so simple and so obvious, yet the way he was able to deliver that and frame it worked so well to the point that even Canadian politicians now are using that. Canadian liberals have been using that to now begin to describe conservatives here, and it's effective. So Josh Shapiro, this is also interesting, another finalist, avoided the green room circuit. So I noticed there weren't many appearances from Josh Shapiro on cable news in the past couple of weeks, and instead touted Harris and his own record at a series of events throughout the state. A pro-Harris event in Philadelphia turned into a Shapiro for VP party. So this apparently was not looked upon kindly by the team. His style was seen by at least some in Harris's world as showboating. One senior Democrat in touch with Harris' team called it counterproductive. There was also a sense within Shapiro's team that, unlike Walz, his interview with Harris did not go as well as it could have. There was not a great feeling coming out of it, according to a person in touch with his advisors. So the combination of both Walz being this impressive individual and Shapiro not doing as well as maybe they expected led to Walz ultimately being picked. Now, I want to grab just a few things that you may not know about Walz, since I'm learning a lot of this stuff as well, since he has been picked. But his students love him. So a former student recalls Tim Walz's kindness, quote, "I was a C student, better in some classes, worse in others, and he didn't leave out lesser performing students." There's more to this. I'll link to the full Nation piece below the video, because there's other pieces that I want to get to that are related to this. So Paul Rudnick here shared Tim Walz was the faculty advisor to the Gay Straight Alliance at the high school where he taught. This is in the 90s. J.D. Vance opposes all LGBTQ civil rights and thinks gay people don't have kids or families and shouldn't be allowed to vote. So more on that from Sam Stryker here. Tim Walz was an enlisted soldier in the Minnesota National Guard in 1999 and defensive coordinator of the Mankato West High School football team. A student at the school where Walz taught geography wanted to start a gay straight alliance. This was 3 years after the president, a Democrat, signed a law forbidding same-sex marriage. Soldiers suspected of being gay in Walz's own unit could be discharged from the military. But Walz, now Minnesota's Democratic candidate for governor, had seen the bullying some students endured and agreed to be the group's faculty advisor. Quote, "It really needed to be the football coach, who was the soldier, and was straight and was married," Walz said. In other words, he would be a symbol that desperate worlds could coexist peacefully. This is simply a good person. He also ran, this is going to come up in the video from New York, or the article from New York Times. He ran on supporting same-sex marriage in 2006 in that red district where he won. Just to show you. This man, like, we're talking about somebody who is principled and won on those principles. So New York Times lists some 19 facts here. There's a lot, so I'm just going to highlight ones that you may not be aware of and I find interesting. He taught in China in 1989 and speaks some Mandarin. So he went to China for a year after graduating from college and taught English there through a program affiliated with Harvard University. Very interesting. He got involved in politics after being barred from a George W. Bush rally. So in 2004, when he was still a teacher, he accompanied students to the rally and objected when, in his telling, they were denied entrance for having volunteered for Democrats. He was an early supporter of gay rights. So at Mankato West High School in Minnesota in the 1990s, he sponsored, I discussed this already, sponsored a gay straight alliance and has said it was important at the time for the sponsor to be the football coach. Again, I read this. Really good to see that. He and his wife had their two children through vitro fertilization, so IVF. This is the thing right now that the right wants to outlaw for some reason. Very bizarre. But going again to showcasing how this man is made for this moment. He's the perfect person to be in this position. It took 7 years of fertility treatments for them to have their daughter, whom they named Hope, and it apparently named her Hope because of that. Mr. Walz spoke about the experience publicly after an Alabama Supreme Court ruling this year upended IVF treatment there. And he also does not drink alcohol after a DWI in 1995. I saw the headshot or the, after that DWI, which is, it's unfortunate, but it's relatable. Like, that's not going to hurt him. And the fact that he turned his life around in a way, or just stopped drinking after that, shows you that, he realized that was a moment that he had to change. And he also does not drink coffee, which works for him, I suppose. He prefers Diet Mountain Dew, which is maybe the only thing he has in common with J.D. Vance, who is worth, I saw this today, he's out campaigning in Philadelphia. So all this week, apparently, Donald Trump isn't doing rallies, but he has put J.D. Vance out there to do them in all the same cities that the Democrats are going to be at, with smaller audiences, clearly. But they're doing it in front of this sign that, sure, it says Kamala Chaos, but you can't see the chaos part. So I just wrote, spooked by the idea of debating Walz, it appears J.D. Vance has already conceded and is endorsing Kamala Harris. Like, that's what this looks like. He's out here campaigning for Kamala Harris. It's such a weird visual. This is also, here, I'll end on this. JD Vance hit Tim Walz as a San Francisco-style liberal during his remarks in Philadelphia a while ago. A key irony there. Vance spent about 4 years living in San Francisco between 2013 and 2017 as a venture capitalist. Walz visited San Francisco for the first time just last month. They're going to try and position this, far left, out of touch, woke, liberal from San Francisco. The guy just visited there a month ago. Meanwhile, JD Vance lived there as a venture capitalist, the exact reason people hate for San Francisco. Good God. They have nothing on this man. They've been flailing all day trying to find a way to attack him. Every new thing they find, it just makes him look better. So this was just a brilliant pick by the Harris campaign out of everyone available who they had in their, their finalist list. This is the one that is going to help them the most. I still think Kamala was already kind of likely on track to win as long as there weren't any big screw-ups from now till November, regardless of who she chose for VP. But this VP choice is only going to help her. Fantastic decision here, and I cannot wait to see how this campaign goes.